But let's move on, 20 through 11. We'll start off at number 20, Thomas Satoransky of the Washington Wizards. At 19, we have Karis Levert of the Brooklyn Nets. Shout out Spencer Dinwiddie. We totally forgot about you. 18, we have Trey Burke of the New York Knicks. 17, we have Dion Waiters of the Miami Heat. At 16, we have Malcolm Brogdon of the Milwaukee Bucks. At 15, we have Patty Mills of the San Antonio Spurs. 14, Derrick Rose of the Minnesota Timberwolves. 13, Marcus Smart of the Boston Celtics. 12, Dennis Schroeder of the Oklahoma City Thunder. And number 11, Andre Iguodala. First time around, he was number 1 overall, and now he is at 11.
I mean, I had Chandre Levindala at number 10 on my list.
I had Chandre Levindala at number 16, and Ricky had Andre Iguodala at 7. So I had him lowest, and I will at least explain it. He's old. He's injured.
He's getting injured
and he's
more.
not that great anymore. Is he important to that team? Yes. Do they work well with him? Yes. But also in the regular season, do they need him? Not at all. And this is going into the regular season. We'll see how he affects in the postseason. But also, he's a year older. He's still going to have to deal with these injuries. And when it comes postseason time, will they actually need him? And
remember,
what
I'm using
what way
the
will they
staple
need him?
of, Andre Iguodala and Shaun Livingston. It's Chandre Levindala.
Both of them weren't good last year.
I mean, he's still like
Playoff experience.
I don't know.
That's fine.
Whenever he goes down in the playoffs, that's all we talk about. Like he is like almost the linchpin to the Warriors.
Also because
He's
they
like
had
the backup
Zaza as
Draymond
their,
Green.
but that's because they had Zaza was their starting center. Now they have DeMarcus Cousins. They don't need any other 5 players. They don't need any other players.
We don't know for
besides
sure
them.
what he's going to be like when he comes back. We're assuming he'll be fine, but we don't know what's going to happen with DeMarcus Cousins coming off of that injury.
I will take injured DeMarcus Cousins, 28 years old, over
I'm
Andre
just
Iguodala,
saying,
who's
there's
35
always a
and injured.
chance that
Both of them are
things
injured. I'll take
aren't
DeMarcus
exactly
Cousins.
the same as they were last year. And for me,
also here's one thing too. DeMarcus Cousins at his best is a better player than Iguodala at his
not
best.
debating
Iguodala is an all-star, and DeMarcus Cousins is probably already at his peak.
Yeah,
Iguodala's fallen off that cliff,
but
and he's still injured.
But the two things. First off, the great thing about Iguodala is he knows his role.
Yes.
It's like
but his role's diminishing.
But he's not a guy that's going to go out there and go, hey, I'm going to go out there and try to be the starter. No, he's going to do whatever this team asks him to do, even if it's coach games when Steve Kerr gets bored.
Yeah, he's got dibs for that Suns game. Sorry, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing with me looking at the rankings that also went into it and what goes in with Iguodala is, I know what you say. Oh, these are regular seasons, but there are some of these guys, and Iguodala is one of them. All of his value in my mind is playoff Andre.
He's got playoff
and that's
pedigree.
why he's a top 10 guy.
That's
for me.
fine. But I also don't think his role is going to be as big as it once was. I understand that he's still the 6th man, but do you need 6 guys for the Warriors team?
He's still what makes their small ball lineup the small ball lineup.
Do they need the small ball lineup anymore?
Yes.
Yes, they still do, because you don't.
That's how they run.
It is something that abuses teams who run with slower lineups, who run with true bigs. It's just. It's what made the Warriors the Warriors. It's what made them stand out. Yes, Steph has been something we've never seen before as far as a shooting standpoint. Nothing can take away from that. But the fact that they changed the way they played the game because of the way that their lineup worked, and they're like, we don't need a center. Guess what? Yeah. Centers aren't cool anymore.
And I understand it's not going to work exactly the same way with DeMarcus Cousins because he's not as quick, he's not as conditioned, he's not going to be able to run up and down the court as
Shit, we've seen Boogie give up on plays. I'm a Boogie buyer.
Of course.
He just stands at one end and goes I ain't even going back there.
But also, you know what's going to abuse them more than a small ball lineup with Andre Iguodala's hurt 35-year-old ass? 5 All-Stars. DeMarcus Cousins, Draymond Green, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson.
Didn't his roles diminish. Minimum too?
His roles diminished and he's gotten worse. So I mean, I'm sorry, I have to drop him. He's not.
I think I'm putting him out there for the respect of. It's the same reason I had Dirk too high. That's fine. I respect what he's done.
Well, let's not talk about having Dirk too high.
And he was
the guy of the crown. There.
You were the.
I'm ready to take
good
old Yeller out back and shoot him in the head. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Andre Iguodala, I put him at 16. He's still an important player. Yep. But I don't think his role is as big as it once was. He's not healthy. He can't stay on the floor. And he's still, when he's on the floor,
Jordan
he's not
Bell hasn't taken that crown from him. I think that's the thing. Is we all expect Jordan Bell to take another step. But in my mind, he's still the most important guy off that bench
cash
Bar none.
consideration.
I'm not in. Dude, that's why he's a sixth man.
That's
I'm not
why
saying he's
you're
not
saying
the
his role
most
diminished.
important.
I'm saying that he has been the most important guy off the bench, and he still is the most important guy off the bench. Yes, the shots he's seen are going down, but what he's being asked to do is still the same.
But I'm saying that again, his importance I think is diminished. Again, he might still be the sixth man, and that's fine. But I don't think it's
when you
still
add another all-star to a team, yes.
Are you going to put
Iguodala
when it comes to when it comes to playing against the Lakers?
Yeah.
Are you putting Iguodala on LeBron James anymore?
Yes. I would feel like he has done the best. You're not doing it full time, but I would at least play him sometimes on LeBron because he knows what to do. But
it's not sometimes. It used to be all the time. He was the LeBron guy.
I know, but it's like now it's
just
you
like
might
it's
be
diminished.
I feel like now it would be, hey, let's switch it off, and it'll be KD and Iguodala, but he's still going to be in crunch time. It still may be, hey, Iguodala, we're putting you on LeBron because he's had the most success against LeBron on this team. And like the one year when he went down, everyone's like, oh no, is he going to come back and play with his sore back? And then LeBron, it's like, well, it's almost every year in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, last year was, he had the sore back, he was missing games.
I mean, there's always like, if it's him and LeBron, you're going to put him on LeBron. It just might not be every time because, yes, he is getting older.
I would rather have KD on him. I would rather have KD on LeBron.
But I mean, you get into the arguments of, keeping KD fresh for offense as the greatest shooter from a true shooting perspective we've
greatest
seen.
mid-range on that team.
I
look, KD plays, but it's like the same thing with, you've got Trevor Ariza who plays defense on KD. It's like that's his whole job. He doesn't even have to worry about the other side of the court. Yes, he can jack up threes, give him the chance because that's how their offense rolls.
Yeah.
But his job is to guard one person, and that's what Andre Iguodala's job is to do.
But Trevor Ariza is better at that job now. Like, that's why Trevor Ariza is getting $15 million and is a starter.
That's
if Iguodala hits the market, he is not.
That's the Suns' problem.
if Iguodala hits the market, he is not getting 15 mil.
I will agree that. Yes.
And also, again, talking about the role diminishing, and this is also because he's been hurt. From 2013 to 2016, he averaged 31.7 minutes per game in the playoffs. The past 2 years, he's averaged 26.
And he's KD
gone
on
down.
the team in the last 2 years.
Yeah, because his role's diminished. It's going to diminish more now that you have DeMarcus Cousins. That's my point. I'm not saying that he's not an important player anymore. He's 16. He's not dead last on me. I'm not Carmelo Anthony guy, all right? But I'm just saying his role is diminished, and he's not as important of a player as he once was to this Warriors team. But looking at other places, guys that I think are completely overrated, and his bum ass shouldn't be here on the list, it should be Tyus Jones, is Derrick Rose at 14. Someone tell me why Derrick Rose is here. I had him at 26. Dave, you had him at 15. Ricky, you had him at 5. Please talk me into some sense here. What am I missing with Derrick Rose?
Derrick Rose can go upstairs.
No, I just feel
14 years ago.
With me,
Didn't you get the memo?
The Timberwolves are going to be interesting this year because we're already starting to talk of like, oh, if they don't make the playoffs, is Thibodeau going to be fired? And the interesting thing that I think is and this is a Timberwolves thing, but I'm going to say it anyways, it's an interesting thing when you give a coach too much power. Not everyone can be like Bill Belichick where they can be the head coach and the GM and make it all work. And that's what you got with Thibodeau, the head coach and the basketball operations guy.
Cool tangent. Why is Derrick Rose at 5?
But I just feel like if we get... I saw what he could do in the playoffs against the Rockets, and if we can get that this season, he is going to be a solid 6-man for the T-Wolves. And that is all I am basing it off of, what I saw in the playoffs from Derrick Rose and carrying that into this season. Because like you mentioned before we even started, last year he was on the Cavaliers, and he had a lot of stuff to get through. Cavaliers then found his way in Minnesota. Now he's for sure in Minnesota and can just worry about being Derrick Rose and playing basketball with this team.
Dude, we've been saying that since 2012. It's 6 years. We said that he was settled. He was there in Cleveland last year. It took him like 3 games until he disappeared. We looked at Minnesota. He was there. He played 5 great games in the playoffs,
Thomas
brother.
was going to do anything, and Isaiah's in the next segment that we're going to talk about.
That's also because he was dealing injury and coming off an injury.
But
Derrick Rose has been coming off an injury for 6 years.
That whole Cleveland team had a little bit of dysfunction around them and only made it to where they were because of LeBron James.
You also put Derrick Rose 7 spots above Isaiah Thomas. Yeah. Isaiah Thomas is a better player now.
But, I mean, consistency, the one thing you got to look at is last year I had Derrick Rose at 6. This year I had him at 5.
Why'd he go up? He was bad last year.
He only went up because I changed...
of 5 games in the
playoffs.
playoffs.
No. He only went up because I originally had Iguodala ahead of him, and I bumped Iguodala down because of everything that we talked about.
But what's the difference between Iguodala and Derrick Rose? Derrick
For
Rose
me,
has
it's
been
health.
injured. Derrick Rose hasn't been healthy in 19 years, 6 years.
No, but it's not like he...
I was in grammar school when Derrick Rose was healthy. I'm out of college, brother.
Last year, it wasn't like, oh, Derrick Rose ended his season on injury. With Iguodala, it's every single year he ends his year. Yeah, he might come back and play for the Warriors, but like we were saying, he is getting older, and I'm not saying Derrick Rose is some spring chicken.
He is younger by a vast majority of
it's
years.
like, you know what? He is getting, like, Iguodala is getting older. I bumped Iguodala down a few spots, and that's why Derrick Rose
is also getting older.
Can I jump in? I'm the guy who...
Time out. Derrick Rose is also getting older. Also, Iguodala plays 64 games last year. Derrick Rose's ass played 25. Go.
Derrick Rose only played 25 because you mentioned he did disappear for a smidge of the season, and then, he had to earn his time back up to the Timberwolves once they picked him up off of free agency because remember he got cut.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Derrick Rose at 1 last year. So I just get that out of the way for those who don't remember my last year 6-man rankings because I was like, look, he came out of New York, he dropped great numbers, looked fantastic. I'm like, Cleveland, everybody's playing fucking solo ball. He's going to fit in perfectly. Obviously, things did not work out there. But what things are looking like after, watching the end of the season with the Timberwolves are, he's a guy who can still score. He's a guy who can say, fuck what's going on. You've got problems over there. Don't care about it. I'm going to take the ball from one end of the court to the other end of the court and put it in the bucket, period. The thing that scares me is he still doesn't know how to fucking land. Like, he is afraid of contact because he never got calls, like, ever, coming up. And I get that. Like, he was one of the most impressive people because his mid-air control of his body was just what set him apart amongst a handful of other things. But I still have him high because he has the one skill I look at as 6-man is you need to be able to come into a game and change momentum. And that's what he was able to show me at the end of last year when everything else on that team outside of Jimmy Butler was failing. Derrick Rose, the ageless fucking wonder, he's still under 30, isn't he?
Yes.
He's 29, I want to say.
Yep, 29.
Yeah.
October 4th birthday.
Boom. Still under 30 as I record this.
Going to be 30 when it starts.
30 at the start of the season. Like, his career's not over. And that A, makes me happy. And B, I will fight to keep saying, like, my memories of D-Rose are still special, so I'm going to treat him differently. But honestly, you look at that Timberwolves team, and the fact that Jamal Crawford's like broken ass is still was dragged out. I just... You have to give the guy respect for what he was able to do in the playoffs and step up when no one else was able to.
And he mentioned the most important thing. Like, Jamal Crawford is not going to be there for the 20 minutes per game that he played. So it's like somebody's going to have to take the time, whether that's Derrick Rose, Tyus Jones. Maybe they split the time, but Derrick Rose getting more time is going to be better for him than last year.
I think that under Thibodeau, he knows how to use him. He knows how to play with him. I think D-Rose will see a large jump in minutes as the season starts. It's just it's Thibodeau's plan. Do I agree with it? Not entirely. But is it going to happen in all inevitable likelihood? No, in all inevitable likelihood.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
It is Derrick Rose.
Yep.
If you increase his minutes, it's just going to lead to another injury. It's just going to happen. It is just his body didn't change. He's not the bionic man. He's not going to be able to.
He keeps coming back.
And he's not getting better. It's kind of getting sad now.
His last full season on the Knicks, he put up what, like 18-5-5? Or 18-5
18-4 and 3.8.
Almost 4.
Okay. So yeah, those aren't bad numbers.
How'd that team do?
It was the Knicks.
31 and 51.
Knicks. Joakim Noah collecting $20 million.
So what?
Knicks.
We're gonna give Derrick Rose credit for now being on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Like what's the point?
I said he put up good numbers. You said he keeps getting worse, and I'm saying those are good numbers.
That was also years. That was not.
That was
last
a year ago.
And then what would he do last year? He didn't play. He wasn't healthy.
Some situations going on.
How is the situation not going to rise? How is another injury not going to rise? He hasn't been playing consistent basketball in years. He hasn't been healthy on the floor.
He's going back with
years.
Thibodeau. He's going back with Jimmy. He's going back with Taj. He'll be back with Luol Deng. Before the season's over, he will have Joakim Noah.
I mean,
Jimmy kicked him out of town.
They reunited, man.
Jimmy kicked him out of town.
I think Tibbs is going full Power Rangers or Thanos. Yeah. I'm not sure which yet, but it's full reunion time for that 2012
He's
team.
going repo man. That's what he's doing. He's getting all of the old players, dragging out those carcasses. He's a grave digger. That's what he's doing. And I don't think the grave of Derrick Rose, outside of that MVP, has much gold in it.
But he trusts guys who have played for him, who've given him minutes. He hates young kids. Can you argue with either of those facts?
No, but
then he's going to get minutes and he's going to get points.
And then it's going to lead to either Derrick Rose disappearing or Derrick Rose getting injured.
All right, two things.
That's my point.
I don't trust Derrick Rose. I think if he gets minutes, he doesn't disappear.
If Derrick Rose proves me wrong, I will be happy because
Do you want to bet on it?
Yeah, put a bet. So it'll play well.
I have no ill wish or ill will towards Derrick Rose.
Yeah, we just know what happens when you take a stand.
That's exactly. I was trying to
for reference, the Texas Clemson game was going on, and Ricky said, "Oh, they're inside the 20." Texas A&M was. I said, "There's no way they score a touchdown."
And they scored as you were saying.
As I said it,
they did choke on a 2-point conversion, lose the game still though.
No,
but
Shaun didn't say they were.
They still scored a touchdown.
Yep.
Derrick Rose, again, I have no ill will towards him. He just needs to prove me wrong. And I am fine sitting here saying that Derrick Rose proved me wrong. If he proves me wrong, congratulations. I'll be happy for you. But I need to see it because I haven't seen it in a very, very, very long time.
The only two things that I'm going to say out of everything you were saying is, one, I would say when you're saying, oh, I haven't seen consistency from Derrick Rose, ever since the ACL, I feel like he was consistent from 2013 to 2017. It was literally last season, which was the inconsistency. Yeah. Number two, he was
two consistent seasons. That was 2015, 2016, 2016, 2017, where he played 66 and 64 games.
Yeah, and then he had last year.
That's consistency back to back. No, last year he played 25 games.
Last year was the only. You had 1 year of like a terrible year.
He had 3 years before that where he was consistent.
I'm talking consistent. 2011 to 2012, he had that big injury. Yeah. Then missed in 2012 to 2013. Then only played for 10 games because he was injured. Then in 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
That's
not a full season.
It's still more
but
than
he still put up like 17, 16, 18.
I don't care about the numbers.
I do.
Also, he was a starter in those 3 years. He's now a six man. How is he going to adjust to that role?
Exactly. Well, and that's the thing of what is he going to do? If he's coming off giving me, and that's why I looked at the playoffs and I was like, all right, if he can give me 12 to 14 off the bench, that is solid for this Timberwolves team. And the second point is when you say he was pushed out of town with Jimmy, that was with Fred Hoiberg that didn't know how to manage this team as a rookie head coach in the NBA. If Thibodeau was there, Derrick Rose would have never been pushed out of town.
Was there trouble between Derrick Rose and Jimmy Butler?
Yeah, because of Fred Hoiberg, because Fred Hoiberg didn't know how to coach the veterans that were on the team, is what I'm saying.
Ricky, my point still stands. It does not make my point not true that Derrick Rose was pushed out of Chicago because of Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, but I'm saying
that was a fact.
In favor of, not
Sorry, I'm attacking your feelings about your Chicago Bulls childhood.
It's just the whole point of, yes, it's a fact he got pushed out, but the only reason he got pushed out was because that whole Bulls season was catastrophic.
And then Jimmy Butler was pushed out.
Yeah.
Because he didn't play nice with others.
Because Rondo was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing in here?
I never said none of that was true. I'm just saying
but under
that Derrick
Thibodeau,
Rose was pushed out of Jimmy Butler.
And that's what we're saying. Also, Thibodeau is the coach.
And I'm also not a fan of Tom Thibodeau.
I know.
I've been calling.
I don't think we are
I've been calling for his job.
I'm just telling you what it's like.
I don't know. I'm not neutral.
I never said you were wrong. All I'm saying is that this guy gets hurt, this guy disappears, and when you give him more minutes, he's probably going to get hurt.
Then where's Jeremy Lin at?
I mean, he brings teams to the playoffs.
Jeremy Lin's in our top 10. Jeremy Lin's ranked entirely too high. But the fact that he's missed how many years and how many games, and you're going to put him there, and you're not going to oh my God, man.
Jeremy Lin, first off, is a
Tom Thibodeau knows how to make the playoffs.
Jeremy Lin, in my at least understanding, is more of a leader than Derrick Rose. I get it. Derrick Rose is a better player and more talented of all time. But Jeremy Lin is more of a leader. He has proven to show that he has taken.
He's proven to choke.
He's proved. What are you talking about?
He got the opportunity. He was given LA, a team that was just, this is you. You can be your own guy in LA. Okay, and guess what? You choked.
That was years ago. And recently,
that was coming off of the peak of his career, which was the beginning of his career.
And when was that? 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And then he went to Charlotte. Then he went to Charlotte and became a leader on that team and helped players underneath him, like Kemba Walker. Then he went to Brooklyn and did the same damn thing. So he's been a leader for the past 3 years. And Derrick Rose is ditching his team over the past year. Derrick Rose went bye-bye.
He's played 37 games in the last 2 years.
Consistency.
I mean,
okay. again, we're talking about the role of these players. Derrick Rose is now the sixth man on a team that's dysfunctional and is not going.
That's going to
get a ton of minutes
last year before Jimmy Butler got injured.
Okay, if we're talking about injuries, Butler gets injured. Karl Anthony Towns has struggled. The only player that hasn't struggled is Andrew Wiggins. I don't think anyone wants him on the floor anymore.
He did dip actually, very much the whole season when Jimmy was there.
Well, and I mean,
versus his average.
I'll throw this out.
Wiggins wasn't as good.
I'm saying Wiggins has not been injured.
Oh,
Wiggins has been healthy.
That's the one I say you can't
and
say
same
about
with Cat. I don't know why I said Cat's been absolutely fine.
To bring up what you kind of mentioned in the last segment, the two things that I think
I love Jeremy Lin, by the way.
The one thing that has two things is, because I had Derrick Rose above Jeremy Lin. I had Lin at 9 and then Derrick Rose at 5. Lin's going to be on a team that is not going to be in the playoffs. The East is weak, but the Hawks are not getting in. Whereas Derrick Rose and the T-Wolves, do I think they'll make the playoffs? Probably a fringe 8 seed if they do, but they're still in the run to make the playoffs in a tougher West.
This is the final thing we're saying about Derrick Rose. Are they making it because Derrick Rose? No, he will be injured. And they're making it because of Karl Anthony Towns.
I think he's going to get injured.
I'll make an injury bet. We're going 70. You want to go 70 games?
Fuck yeah. What do you, $100? You want to do $100? I'll give you my life savings. You want to do $5,000, dude? $5,000 on the fact that Derrick Rose is going to play.
I mean, last time he played 70 was 2011.
I will give you 70 and over, Dave. 70 over $5,000 right now. Come on, I don't care.
Here, I'll do this.
No, we're done.
No. The line's at 65. Take the over or the under.
I will take the under.
Okay, 65.
I don't
Dave's
care.
got the over.
You want to take it to 60? You want to take it to 50? He's done.
You've got the under. 65's the line.
We're done with Derrick Rose.
Matt, bookmark the timestamp so that we can remember this. Thanks, bud.
We're done with Derrick Rose. Who do you want to talk about? Dion Waiters is the guy that I was looking at earlier.
Well, no, that's the one that I want to bring up because...
Okay, I'm bringing him up right now. It's my show. Shut up. 25. I had Dion Waiters at 25. You had Dion Waiters at 13. You pissed me off enough. 16, you had Dion Waiters. Dion Waiters coming off injury. He slows down Miami Heat. That's my thought process why Jim.
Well, he's not even going to be the sixth man because I know as of right now, there's only reports. D-Wade's going to be the sixth man. Like, I wanted to say that so Heat fans don't get mad at us. Reports are coming out as we're recording. Wade County. It's D-Wade County.
It's no longer Waiters County?
Yeah, no longer Waiters County. I like Dion, but D-Wade's going to be the sixth man.
My apologies.
Yeah.
Shaun can't be mad anymore.
Okay. I've been a dick on this podcast. I know it. I don't care. I've been upset for good reasons. Sorry, I'm not talking about Derrick Rose. But Dion Waiters coming off injury, he slows down the Miami Heat. And Miami Heat is a very well-oiled machine.
Probably should have been in our starters, but we put, who at the two?
No, Dion probably shouldn't be there because he's coming off an injury. And even though he started, he, again, slows down that team. That team's probably better off without him. They're going to win more games with Dion Waiters probably getting less minutes.
There's a debate for between Josh Richardson and Waiters County.
I love Richardson. Richardson's one of my favorite players. That guy can shoot the lights out. He plays good defense. Yep. I love that kid. Waiters is a scoring black
He's a chucker. You just say he's a chucker. That's what he does. That's who he is. I know it's not a polite term. I know it's a halfway offensive term to some basketball fans, but he's a volume scorer, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the problem is that I can't put him any higher because what you said, it's pace of game, and he doesn't pass the ball. He doesn't advance the ball. He doesn't do anything that helps that offense click, move faster, or play quicker. And that's the thing. Like, he's good. He's still young. Like, I forget how young he is. He was an early pick from that the rebuilding Cavs franchise, and it was just like, dang, I wish you were better, but you're not.
And I think the one thing with Waiters too is, we talk about roles, and scoring does play a part into how good a six man is.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Again, we're talking about roles on a team and how he fits into this team. Miami doesn't really need a chucker. They don't really need a scorer. They don't need a guy who's going to be a high volume scorer.
The team basketball of the East.
Exactly. They need a team. They need guys that are going to move the ball around. They need guys that play on both ends of the floor. Waiters is a one-sided player, at least offensively. So that's why I had him so low. You guys obviously had him higher than I did. But looking at other players, Trey Burke, kind of a chucker, right?
But he's a scorer they needed. That's the difference. Is that was a team that had a two-guard or a point guard, whatever you want to call Frank. I know he played the two, but arguments, whatever, who wasn't confident in his shot last year, so you needed someone who could force it in. You needed someone who was happy to take shots. Tim Hardaway and Trey Burke were a great combo. Like, that was exactly what that team needed. Didn't make him a good team, but it's what they needed.
You vouched for Trey Burke over Mario Hezonia, their new signing. Why?
Yeah, for me, it was what I saw last year, and yet again, one of the things I look for from a six-man, maybe this is just me personally, is I want points off the bench. If that first guy coming off the bench, I need instant offense while my first unit is getting rest. And for me, he was a spark for that team, especially scoring-wise with the points per game that he had.
Dude, he was
That's
crazy
the only reason why I went with him over Hezonia. Plus, I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest Mario Hezonia fan. After I was very high on him coming into his draft class.
Well, my thing with Hezonia is after they declined his option on the 31st, his fourth-year option, he shot 44% from the field, 32% from three, 81 from the line.
Finally had something
10
to prove.
points per game, 1.5 assists, 3.9 rebounds. But he was absolutely fantastic, really, once it came around to the new year. He was killer from about the 30th. I'm screwing up on basketball.
February 30th?
Hold on. No, it was going to be, it started the new year. So January 3rd all the way to the end of the season. At the start of the new year, 2018, shot 44% from three, 33% from three, but 12 points per game, 4.5 rebounds per game, 1.8 assists per game, 4.1 steals per game. He was good on both ends of the floor, and I think he's a guy that can do a lot for that Knicks team. He won't be that scorer for New York that Trey Burke will. Also won't be able to take off some offensive pressures from Frank, but I think Hezonia is going to be more of a well-rounded basketball player to help that team out.
I don't disagree, and I actually like Hezonia more, but I have to admit that Trey Burke, the last 23 games, he put up like 16, 6, and 2.5. I mean, he was downright impressive. He absolutely earns his spot, I think, here in this mid-range. Hezonia is a guy who we're going to see where he lands because is the Magic curse real? Like, do players exit the Magic better players than they ever showed on the Magic? And we saw him get much better, like you said, as the new year hit. So, I don't know. I like him, but I think from a contribution standpoint, I think Trey Burke is going to give them more than Mario Hezonia will.
And just for Magic fans who don't know what we're talking about, Sabonis didn't really play for that team, right?
He was drafted by.
But then ended up trading. But Victor Oladipo, obviously, you look at Serge Ibaka, Tobias Harris. I mean, there's been a lot of players who have left the Magic and then went on and have played great.
I don't think Alfred Payton's going to be one of them, though. It's okay.
No, Alfred Payton's definitely not one of them. They made a smart choice in that one. Any final thoughts? Dennis Schroeder, you guys already talked about when I wasn't here. Marcus Smart was a guy that I wanted to throw out. 13 for him. That's a guy that, again, you look at his stats, you're like, why the hell is he here? But he provides a different role. He provides toughness for Boston. He provides defense. For Boston. He's a Boston guy. He's such an important role to that team. Doesn't matter if he's missing every shot he takes. He's just a guy who his presence means a ton to him. Yeah, I mean he's a horrible offensive player.
He's just gonna take the three though. You leave him wide open. He's like, maybe
he shot like
my lucky day.
30% for three this year, which is honestly not too bad for him.
For him.
And also, he was a pretty good player at Oklahoma State
he got hot at like the best times. Was the funniest thing about him. Like
it was the playoff game against Cleveland. He was up like 36 and shot like 70% for three. We're like, what the fuck did this come from?
It was great. So yeah, no, I totally agree. He's an X factor. He is like the Boston version of Draymond Green. He doesn't like thrill the stat line. You know, Draymond has been, but like he doesn't absolutely amaze you on the stat line. But when you watch him play defense, lock down on someone, it is smothering. It is just absolutely disgusting the impact that he can have on that end of the court. And on offense, it's not that he's a bad shooter, don't get me wrong, but he still will take shots. He will still force them to, at least at times, play him respectively and pass the ball and make things happen.
And obviously he won't be to this level of these players because these guys are borderline Hall of Famers, if not Hall of Famers.
Right.
But if we're talking about Brad Stevens being the next Greg Popovich, I feel like this might be the first era of a Pop-like
I see where you're
guy.
going.
This might be a guy that stays around for a long time just because what he brings to the floor, what he brings to Boston. He brings that defense, he brings that leadership, he brings that toughness. Like a Manu or Tony Parker later in their careers, obviously not in their primes, but later in their careers, they kept him around for the presence that they have.
Right.
I think Marcus Smart could be a guy like that in Boston for the next couple of years if they're able to keep him re-signed.
Well, and the guy I wanted to mention, you kind of went right over him, was Schroeder here at the end, was basically how are the Thunder going to use him? Mainly because Russell Westbrook plays about 34 to 36 minutes per game.
If he can get more, he will.
So it's like, yeah, you're probably not going to. I think the lowest that Russ has averaged minutes per game has been like 30 in his career.
Probably
so you're not going to get a ton of minutes with Russ on the bench. Do they maybe use him as a two guard? next to Russ, maybe when they need to pull Robertson off the court, or knock on wood if Robertson gets injured again. I'm saying knock on wood that he won't get injured.
I think that's probably what they're going to use him. Not maybe a 2-guard per se. It's just going to be a 2-guard backcourt.
Yeah.
I don't think it would.
With like him
most
playing
likely,
with Russ and PG.
Yeah, most likely it's just going to be design plays for Schroeder to carry the ball, handle the ball, and maybe just get PG open on
because that way you just
Russ
swing Robertson
screens
to the 4 on defense and offense, to be honest with you.
And I mean, also him running the second unit, if they ever have a true second unit,
because Russ runs everything.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be something where you can put Robertson out there, you could put Paul George out there, and offensively, Schroeder's still good, and Schroeder can score, Schroeder can dish the ball out. So I think that's the biggest thing is you can hide his defensive problems with the defensive players that you do have on the Thunder when Russ needs a break. So.
Yeah, I think the question for me with him is just his efficiency. Is going from a role on Atlanta where he was asked to score all the time and his shot selection was pretty poor, his efficiency dipped. Going to a team with playoff aspirations again. Where's he going to be?
Shout out Thomas Sadaransky. We didn't talk about him too much, but he's a guy.
Thank you, Sato.
He's a guy that you definitely got to watch out for because he's 6'7" point guard, played crazy good defense. Definitely watch out for him. He's a guy that I think if he shows his worth in the playoffs, or is able to at least, consistently, if Washington makes a deep run, that's going to be a guy that jumps up from a 20, maybe even up to where Marcus Smart is, especially over where Derrick Rose is. Let us know what your thoughts are.